Hi everyone, Bronwyn here, and I have your yoga pose of the week. It's Hero Pose, and it's going to really help to open up the knees, the quadriceps, as well as the ankles. So if you are tight through the quadriceps, tight through the knees, or you have some stiffness into the ankles, I'm also going to show you an alternative with some props. So you may want to gather a blanket and or a block, or maybe both. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll start on our knees. You can bring the knees together and separate the feet nice and wide because we're going to need to create space behind us to lower our bottom back. I'll come to a side angle so that you have a little better idea. So the feet are spread wide, and you can see that my foundation is that of my knees, my shins, and my ankles. So you're going to ease yourself on back, keeping those knees together. Requires some strength to ease you down, and then you settle on down with your bottom right in between your feet. I always like to peel my calves out from underneath just to create a little more space. And then we have a nice stretch across the ankles, and this will help to relieve any sort of stiffness. You can rest your hands just on your thighs. Make some space across the collarbones as you draw the heads of the shoulders back. And a nice lift through the sternum. So you want to have a nice long spine. You don't want to be rounding here. So we want to find length. Tailbone is down. And if you're meeting your mat with your bottom, you should feel a grounding down of your sits bones as well. And again, the hands can rest either on top of the thighs, maybe at your heart, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Take anywhere, say maybe 5 to 10 breaths here. And again, just relaxing all the muscles in your face. This can actually be a very relaxing posture. For those of you who may need a little bit of assistance, say with a block or blanket, I'll go ahead and show you a variation. All right, so if you were coming into the posture and you needed to elevate yourself a little bit, you'll want to use a block underneath your seat. So this would be for someone who needs just a little extra help. So you'll put the block right behind you. And it's possible you may need 2 blocks, but I'll show you with 1. You also may not be able to bring the knees all the way together, so you can separate them about hip distance apart. You'll slowly ease yourself on down, and you can always just place that block and ease on down. This is not going to put as much stress into the ankles if you have a lot of stiffness here. So if you have a lot of stiffness, this will help relieve that because you won't be sitting your bottom all the way to the floor. Once you're here, if you're able to, you can start to bring the knees closer together. But if that just isn't comfortable, then you can separate the knees. Again, you'll want to sit nice and upright. Draw the heads of the shoulders back. A nice, relaxed, and even breaths. So again, we're not slouching. We want to make sure that we're finding a lot of space here. And I would have to say this does take a lot of pressure off the top of the ankles. It's important that you have you can always place even like a little blanket underneath the ankles for a little more support if you needed to do that, and I'll show you what that looks like as well. All right, so this is important not to stress or strain the ankles because it's also important for your knee alignment. So I'll go ahead and show you now with the blanket. If you were to bring the blanket underneath you, again, the knees can be slightly separated, and then you could ease yourself on back and settle in. So now you have some nice elevation from the blanket, but then you also have the support of the blanket underneath your ankles, and this feels really good as well. So you have some options. If you need a little bit more, maybe you do want to slide that block underneath and settle down, and that's really going to take a lot of pressure off the ankles. So I do know that a lot of people are stiff into the ankles, so these are some really nice alternatives for you. And then you'll stay there for 10 breaths or so, or as many as you'd like to take. Then you'll just ease yourself on out of the pose by lifting up through the buttocks, And then you can just bring the feet around and voila, you're finished. I look forward to seeing you on the mat, and thanks so much for joining me.